Have you ever believed you were doing everything right, eating healthy snacks, adding a handful of nuts each day, only to find your lab results getting worse? You wake up proud of your discipline, yet your body feels heavier, your energy lower, and your doctor quietly mentions that your creatinine has crept up again. Most people brush it off, blaming age or stress, but here's the frightening truth. Sometimes the foods we trust the most are the very ones quietly destroying our kidneys from the inside out. Every single year, thousands of people with perfectly normal blood tests suddenly collapse into kidney failure without warning, and many of them shared one simple habit: they were eating the wrong kind of healthy nuts, the ones that fill grocery aisles with promises of heart health, protein, and longevity. What those labels don't tell you is that certain nuts can load your kidneys with hidden toxins, acids, and minerals so concentrated they scar the very filters meant to keep you alive. By the time the damage shows up on a lab sheet, half your kidney function may already be gone. But here's the part that gives me hope. As a kidney specialist who's seen hundreds of these cases, I've also witnessed incredible recoveries patients who turn things around simply by understanding which nuts cleanse and protect their kidneys and which ones silently push them toward dialysis. Today, I'm going to show you the truth hidden behind that shiny bag of healthy snacks, the 3 nuts that can wreck your kidneys faster than you ever imagined, and the 3 that can gently wash away years of damage and help your body filter clean again. Because in the end, it's not about giving up what you love, it's about knowing which handful could save your life. You know what's ironic? The first nut that most people reach for when they decide to eat healthier is often the very one that starts destroying their kidneys in silence. Almonds, the darling of fitness ads and protein bars, have become a symbol of clean eating. They sit proudly on kitchen counters, tossed into smoothies and granola, almost like a badge of discipline. But what if I told you that this little brown nut could quietly turn your kidneys into a battlefield? Let me take you back to a patient I met not long ago. Marcus was 49, lean, active, never smoked, no alcohol. He came into my clinic with swollen ankles, crushing fatigue, and blood work that didn't make sense. Creatinine, 3.2 mg/dL. That's more than double the upper limit. He looked at me and said, "But doctor, I eat healthy. All I have are almonds every morning, a handful, sometimes 2. And that's exactly what led him here. See, almonds are loaded with oxalates, tiny acid crystals that act like microscopic glass shards. Once inside your kidneys, they bind with calcium and form sharp stones that can scrape, scar, and block the delicate filters that keep your blood clean. Now imagine this: just 1 ounce of almonds, that's about 23 nuts, contains over 120 milligrams of oxalate. For people prone to kidney stones, specialists recommend staying below 40 to 50 milligrams per day. So yes, 1 handful can triple your entire daily limit in a single sitting. And here's where the marketing trap deepens. The same ad campaigns that made almonds famous for heart health never mention what they do to your kidneys. That innocent almond butter, that so-called healthy almond milk, all carry the same oxalate payload. Nothing about grinding or soaking removes it. Even worse, each quarter cup adds around 200 milligrams of potassium and 137 milligrams of phosphorus, minerals that healthy bodies handle well, but weakened kidneys can't flush out. Over time, this mineral buildup acts like cement in your blood vessels, raising blood pressure and accelerating renal decline. When I explained this to Marcus, his face fell. He had been doing exactly what every health article told him to do, and his kidneys paid the price. But here's the good news: the damage stopped the moment he swapped almonds for sunflower seeds and hazelnuts. Within 3 months, his creatinine dropped by nearly 6 points, and his energy came back. It wasn't a miracle. It was biology finally given a chance to breathe. So the next time you see a glossy commercial praising almonds as the perfect snack, remember this: for your kidneys, they're not a health food. They're a hazard with a halo. You don't have to fear every nut, but you do have to know which ones deserve a place in your hand. But just knowing this isn't enough, because the next nut looks harmless, tastes luxurious, and yet carries a danger even deeper than almonds. If almonds are the obvious villain, then pine nuts are the sneaky accomplice hiding in plain sight. They don't come with warning labels. They look elegant, expensive, even Mediterranean chic, the kind of food you'd see sprinkled on a salad at a high-end restaurant. But here's the twist: their danger isn't in what you taste, it's in what you can't see. One of my patients, Evelyn, was a 62-year-old retired teacher who loved her Mediterranean diet. Every week, she'd make her famous pesto extra virgin olive oil, basil garlic, and of course, pine nuts. She'd say, "Dr. Ellis, I'm following the healthiest diet on earth." Yet her lab tests told another story. Her phosphorus levels were climbing, her bones were thinning, and calcium was showing up where it never should in her blood vessels. That's not just a coincidence, it's biochemistry gone wrong. You see, pine nuts are loaded with phosphorus, roughly 190 to 200 milligrams per ounce, and paired with 170 milligrams of potassium. On paper, that doesn't sound alarming until you realize that people with even mild kidney stress can't clear those minerals efficiently. What happens next is a biochemical chain reaction. Phosphorus builds up in the blood, calcium leaves your bones to balance it, and together they harden inside your arteries like concrete in old pipes. The result, brittle bones on the inside, calcified vessels on the outside. A double hit your kidneys can't afford. Now imagine how easy it is to overdo them. Pine nuts are small, buttery, addictive. A sprinkle on your salad. That's often a full serving or two. And pesto, 1 tablespoon of traditional pesto sauce contains the equivalent of 3 tablespoons of pine nuts concentrated into paste. Evelyn had no idea that her favorite sauce was dosing her kidneys with the same phosphorus load as eating 2 slices of processed cheese every single day. When we cut out the pine nuts and replaced them with sunflower seeds, her phosphorus dropped by almost 25% in just 2 months. Her bone density scans stopped declining. The fix wasn't drastic, just strategic. She kept her Mediterranean flavors, but this time without the hidden kidney toll. So here's the lesson. Don't let a food's price tag fool you into thinking it's safe. A $20 bag of pine nuts doesn't buy health, it buys silent stress for your kidneys. Ask about ingredients, read labels, and when you eat out, never be afraid to say, "Please, no pine nuts in that salad." That one sentence could spare you months of fatigue, swelling, and rising creatinine. But just knowing this isn't enough because the next nut looks harmless, even heart-shaped, yet it hides a different danger that has quietly misled millions. If pine nuts are the sneaky accomplice, then cashews are the charming trickster, the nut that smiles back at you while quietly tightening the noose on your kidneys. They even look like little kidneys, curved and glossy as if nature was trying to warn us. Yet they've become the poster child of the plant-based revolution: cashew, milk cashew, cheese cashew cream. Smooth, rich, luxurious, and silently dangerous for anyone whose kidneys are already fighting to survive. I'll never forget Tom, a 57-year-old graphic designer who came to see me after switching to a clean vegan diet. He proudly told me he'd replaced all dairy with homemade cashew milk and started blending cashew cream into every meal. But when his labs came back, his phosphorus had jumped 30%, his creatinine climbed from 1.5 to 2.4, and his once steady blood pressure began creeping upward. He stared at the paper and said, "But doctor, I thought I was eating the healthy way." The truth is, cashews pack a toxic trifecta for weakened kidneys: high oxalates around 47 milligrams per ounce, roughly 150 milligrams of phosphorus, and about 180 milligrams of potassium. Combine that with the creamy texture that makes them so easy to overeat, and you've got a perfect storm. Your kidneys aren't just filtering nutrients anymore, they're fighting to process a mineral load they can't handle. And the plant-based trend has made it worse. When you turn cashews into milk cheese or vegan desserts, you're not diluting those minerals, you're concentrating them. A single serving of cashew cheese can equal several handfuls of raw nuts. Then add preservatives, emulsifiers, and phosphate-based stabilizers, and you're suddenly delivering a chemical cocktail that stresses every nephron in your body. It's like feeding your kidneys quicksand. Every bite pulls them a little deeper. But the fix, once again, is surprisingly simple. For that creamy texture, swap cashews for sunflower seed butter or coconut cream in moderation. Both give the same rich mouthfeel without the oxalate overload. Or try hemp hearts, tiny seeds with clean protein, magnesium, and anti-inflammatory fats your kidneys can actually use. When Tom made those swaps, his phosphorus normalized within 8 weeks, and his creatinine began trending down for the first time in 2 years. So the next time you see a vegan recipe boasting guilt-free cashew cream, remember it may be dairy-free, but it's not kidney-free. Cashews are proof that not every plant food is harmless, and not every healthy choice is safe. But just knowing this still isn't enough, because for every food that damages your kidneys, there are others that can heal them. And the next group of nuts, our kidney protectors, might just change the way you age from this day forward. After all the hidden dangers we've uncovered, you might be wondering if there's any nut left that's actually safe. The truth is, there's one that doesn't just avoid harming your kidneys, it actively helps them heal. Walnuts. The only nut rich in plant-based omega-3s, and perhaps the most misunderstood of them all. I remember Maria, a 68-year-old grandmother, who came to me terrified after her nephrologist warned that her eGFR had fallen below 50. She said, "Dr. Ellis, I've stopped eating everything. I'm scared of every food." Her kitchen looked like a battlefield of fear. I told her something that made her cry with relief. You don't have to stop eating. You just have to start choosing differently. And our first step was adding 7 walnut halves a day. Here's why it mattered. Walnuts contain alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant form of omega-3 that works like an internal firefighter, cooling down the microscopic inflammation that slowly burns through kidney tissue. In studies, people who consumed a handful of walnuts 3 to 5 times per week showed lower C-reactive protein levels, steadier blood pressure, and improved endothelial function, the microcirculation that feeds your kidneys. Nutritionally, they strike the perfect balance, roughly 125 milligrams of potassium and 98 milligrams of phosphorus per ounce, comfortably within the safe zone, even for those with moderate kidney disease. That means you can nourish your body without overloading it. But there's one critical detail most people miss: not all walnuts are created equal. English walnuts, the common variety in grocery stores, are the gentle protectors. Black walnuts, on the other hand, carry higher phosphorus and protein, which can be too heavy for fragile kidneys. Maria took that advice to heart. Within 3 months, her inflammation markers dropped, her creatinine stabilized, and she started walking her dog again, without the crushing fatigue she'd lived with for years. It feels, she said, like someone cleaned the fog out of my blood. And she was right. That's what better filtration feels like. Here's the beauty of walnuts. You don't need a complicated routine or fancy product. Just a handful, 7 to 10 halves, 3 to 5 days a week. Eat them with breakfast or mix them into a salad dressed with olive oil to boost absorption of their healthy fats. Toast them lightly if you prefer flavor, but skip the salted or honey-roasted versions. Those turn a kidney healer into a hidden stressor. If you store them in an airtight jar in the fridge, they'll stay fresh for months. The moment they taste bitter or smell like paint, toss them. Rancid oils can flip their benefits into inflammation. Walnuts aren't just food, they're proof that nutrition can be medicine when done right. They rebuild the bridge between your heart and kidneys, reducing the silent inflammation that connects both diseases. But only knowing walnuts isn't enough, because the next nut on our list carries a secret advantage that almost no one talks about. It protects your kidneys not just by reducing damage, but by lightening their daily workload itself. If walnuts are the firefighters, then macadamias are the peacekeepers, the calm, quiet allies that take pressure off your kidneys day after day. Where most nuts challenge your kidneys with excess minerals and protein, macadamias give them room to breathe. They don't push, they protect. I met Harold, 73, a retired engineer who tracked every number on his lab reports like a blueprint. His potassium was climbing, his GFR slipping, and every diet plan he tried felt like another restriction. When he asked Doctor, "What can I eat that won't hurt my kidneys or my sanity?" I smiled and slid a small bowl toward him. "Try these." Inside were 10 macadamia nuts, buttery and simple. Why macadamias? Because they're one of the lowest burden foods your kidneys will ever meet, only about 104 milligrams of potassium and 53 milligrams of phosphorus per ounce, with just 2.2 grams of protein. That combination is gold. It means less nitrogen waste, less acid load, less metabolic strain. Every handful gives your kidneys a break without depriving your body of nutrients. But here's the secret that makes them truly special. Their fat profile mirrors olive oils. Macadamias are rich in oleic acid, a monounsaturated fat proven to calm inflammation, improve circulation, and support endothelial flexibility, the very microvessels that keep your kidneys alive. Think of them as natural lubricants for your bloodstream, helping your filters stay open and efficient. Harold swapped his nightly chips for a handful of macadamias and a cup of herbal tea. 3 months later, his creatinine dropped from 2.1 to 1.7, his energy soared, and his morning stiffness disappeared. He laughed and said, "Doctor, I didn't expect something so small to make me feel so alive." That's the beauty of gentle nutrition, small, consistent acts that compound into healing. Now you might worry about calories. Yes, an ounce carries around 200 of them, but don't be fooled. These are smart calories packed with satiety. A handful keeps you full for hours, cutting cravings and preventing the blood sugar spikes that silently damage your kidneys. It's better to have 200 calories that heal you than 300 that harm you. To keep their oils pure, buy them raw or dry roasted, never salted or flavored. Store them in the fridge and you'll know they're fresh when they smell sweet and buttery, not sharp or paint-like. Macadamias remind us that healing doesn't always have to be dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is the food that asks nothing of your body except to rest. But just knowing this still isn't enough, because the next nut on our list does something extraordinary. It doesn't just protect your kidneys, it shields each cell from the microscopic rust that causes them to age. And that final secret may be the missing link to keeping your kidneys young. If macadamias give your kidneys peace, then hazelnuts give them armor. Think of them as the tiny round shields guarding every cell in your body against the silent rust of aging. They may not look flashy, but inside each one is a powerhouse of protection that helps your kidneys, your heart, and even your brain stay young. When I first met Linda, she was 65, soft-spoken, and tired of being tired. Her labs showed a mild decline in kidney function, but what really worried her was the fatigue, the fog, the sense that her body just wasn't recovering the way it used to. "It's like my batteries don't recharge anymore," she said. So we focused not just on filtration, but on cellular protection, the kind that starts with what you eat every single day. That's where hazelnuts came in. Just 1 ounce, about 12 nuts, provides nearly 20% of your daily vitamin E, one of the most powerful antioxidants ever discovered. Vitamin E doesn't just float around in your bloodstream, it embeds directly into the membranes of your cells, defending them against oxidative stress, the same molecular rust that ages your kidneys from the inside out. Every bite of hazelnut helps seal tiny cracks in those membranes, keeping them flexible, healthy, and ready to filter without friction. Even more impressive is the form of vitamin E hazelnuts contain. It's called gamma-tocopherol, a rare type, especially effective at calming inflammation inside the urinary tract and vascular system. That means fewer flare-ups, better blood flow, and more efficient toxin removal. In simple terms, hazelnuts don't just protect your kidneys, they help your body do its job more smoothly. Nutritionally, they sit comfortably in the safe zone, about 193 milligrams of potassium, 82 milligrams of phosphorus, and 4.2 grams of protein per ounce. That's balanced enough even for those managing early-stage kidney disease. And unlike almonds or cashews, hazelnuts are softer, easier to chew, and far less likely to irritate your stomach, making them ideal for seniors or anyone with sensitive digestion. Linda began adding a handful of hazelnuts to her oatmeal 3 mornings a week. Within 2 months, her energy returned, her skin looked brighter, and her follow-up labs showed her creatinine had stabilized. She smiled and said, "It feels like my body finally has a shield again." You can enjoy them roasted or raw chopped over vegetables, or even blended into a homemade nut butter. Just stay away from sugary spreads and chocolate-loaded versions that disguise themselves as healthy. Real hazelnuts don't need sugar to shine. Store them in a cool, dry place, and you'll have a natural defense system sitting right in your pantry, ready to guard your kidneys with every bite. Hazelnuts prove that healing isn't always about medicine. Sometimes it's about feeding your body what it's quietly been craving all along: nourishment that rebuilds instead of robs. But knowing these kidney healing nuts is just the beginning, because how you use this knowledge day after day will decide whether your kidneys keep filtering clean or fade into silence. And that's where our final message truly matters. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that your kidneys are not fragile, they're resilient. They don't give up easily. Even after years of stress, poor diet, or high creatinine, they can still recover when you give them the right support. You don't need complicated detox plans or expensive supplements. You just need awareness, consistency, and a little bit of care each day. Start small. Swap the nuts that strain your kidneys for those that strengthen them. Drink clean water. Sleep well. Move your body. Every gentle change adds up, like turning the tide one wave at a time. And remember, you're not alone in this. Every week, I share the latest medical insights, simple food swaps, and real recovery stories to help you protect your kidneys for life. So before you scroll away, do two simple things. Save this video so you can come back whenever you need a reminder, and subscribe to this channel with the bell turned on. That way you'll never miss the newest kidney health tips and breakthroughs that could change your life or the life of someone you love. Your journey to better kidneys doesn't start with fear. It starts with understanding. And every step you take, no matter how small, is proof that healing is still possible. You've got this, and I'll be here every week to walk beside you. Stay healthy, stay hopeful, and I'll see you in the next video.